Have you ever wondered what the deadliest nuclear accidents in history are? In the world we live in, nuclear energy has become an integral part of our lives. It powers our cities, runs our industries, and even propels our submarines. But like all powerful things, it also carries a great potential for harm. When things go wrong in a nuclear facility, the results can be catastrophic, leading to what we call nuclear accidents. A nuclear accident is an unexpected event that leads to the release of radioactive material. This could be due to equipment failure, human error, or even natural disasters. The reason behind these accidents can be as varied as the incidents themselves, but the common denominator is that they all involve a failure in the systems designed to keep us safe. But why are these accidents so dangerous? Well, the answer lies in the very nature of nuclear energy. It's all about the atom. When we split an atom, it releases a tremendous amount of energy. This is what we harness in nuclear power plants. But it also releases radiation, which is invisible to our senses, and this is where the danger lies. Radiation in large doses can be harmful to human health. It can cause burns, sickness, and even cancer. The effects can be immediate, or they can take years to manifest. But the impact is not only on human health, the environment can also suffer, with radiation contaminating soil, water, and air. The seriousness of these accidents and their far-reaching consequences make it essential for us to understand them, to learn from them, and to ensure that they do not happen again. So, what are some of these accidents? What happened? And what were their impacts? Over the course of this video, we'll explore some of the most disastrous nuclear accidents in history. From a quiet town in the Ural Mountains to a bustling metropolis in Japan, these incidents have left indelible scars on our planet and serve as stark reminders of the unseen threats that lurk in the heart of our nuclear facilities. Now, let's delve into some of the worst nuclear accidents in history, starting with the Kyshtym Disaster in 1957. In the small town of Kyshtym, Russia in 1957, the world experienced its third, most severe nuclear accident. This catastrophe, known as the Kyshtym Disaster, was caused by a failure in the cooling system of a nuclear waste storage tank. This led to a chemical explosion that released a substantial amount of radioactive particles into the atmosphere. The effects were devastating. Thousands of people were exposed to high levels of radiation, leading to illness, death, and long-term environmental damage. Yet for years the true scale of the disaster was hidden under a shroud of secrecy. The Soviet government, in a bid to protect its image, kept the incident classified, leaving the global community unaware of the event's magnitude. It wasn't until 2 decades later that the details of the Kyshtym disaster were disclosed, revealing a chilling tale of nuclear danger and governmental cover-up. The Kyshtym disaster was a stark warning of the dangers of nuclear power, but unfortunately it was not the last of its kind. Fast forward to 1979, the United States experienced its worst nuclear accident in history at 3 Mile Island. Located in Pennsylvania, a partial meltdown in one of the plant's 2 reactors led to the release of radioactive gases into the environment. A combination of mechanical malfunctions, design-related problems, and operator errors were to blame. The incident sparked widespread panic. Fearful of radiation exposure, thousands of local residents were evacuated. The disaster highlighted the significant gaps in the country's nuclear safety practices, prompting a nationwide reassessment. In the aftermath, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission made sweeping changes to improve the safety of nuclear power plants. These reforms included upgrades to reactor designs, enhanced operating procedures, and more rigorous training for plant workers. While there were no immediate deaths or injuries, the accident left a lasting impact, fueling a long-standing debate over the safety and viability of nuclear power. The 3 Mile Island incident shook the nation and the world, but the worst was yet to come. In 1986, the world witnessed the worst nuclear disaster in history in Chernobyl, Ukraine. In the early morning hours of April 26th, a routine safety test turned into a nightmare. The test, designed to simulate a power outage, went horribly wrong due to a fatal combination of design flaws and operator errors. Reactor 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, spewing radioactive material into the atmosphere. The immediate aftermath was catastrophic. 2 plant workers died on the night of the explosion, and 28 more would succumb to acute radiation sickness in the following weeks. But the devastation didn't stop there. It seeped into the surrounding environment, contaminating land and water. The international response was swift but fraught. The Soviet Union initially attempted to downplay the incident, but radioactive fallout detected across Europe forced them to disclose the full extent of the disaster. Countries worldwide rallied to provide aid, even as they grappled with the implications for their own nuclear industries. The long-term health and environmental impacts of the Chernobyl disaster are still being felt today. Thousands suffered from radiation-induced illnesses, and the World Health Organization estimates that around 4,000 cases of thyroid cancer can be traced back to Chernobyl. The surrounding area, now known as the exclusion zone, is a ghostly testament to the disaster, with abandoned towns and an ecosystem forever altered by radiation. Yet amidst the tragedy, there has also been resilience. The ongoing cleanup efforts have been monumental, involving thousands of workers and innovative technologies. The new safe confinement, a massive steel structure, now encases the damaged reactor, helping to contain the radioactive materials. The Chernobyl disaster was a stark wake-up call. It highlighted the very real dangers of nuclear power when safety measures fail. It has influenced international policies and spurred on advancements in nuclear safety. Yet despite these lessons, the nuclear industry has not been without further mishaps. The Chernobyl disaster was a grim reminder of the potential for catastrophe in the nuclear industry. But even this was not the end of significant nuclear accidents. In 2011, Japan faced a devastating earthquake and tsunami, leading to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. A story that began with a natural disaster escalated into a man-made catastrophe that shook the world. On March 11, 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake, the most powerful in Japan's history, triggered a colossal tsunami that swamped the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The plant's cooling systems failed, and in the following days, 3 of the plant's 6 reactors experienced a meltdown, releasing substantial amounts of radioactive materials into the environment. The Fukushima Daiichi disaster wasn't just about the immediate aftermath. The real story unraveled over weeks, months, and years. The event forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate from their homes, leaving entire towns deserted. Many areas remain uninhabitable even today due to radiation levels. The health effects of the disaster are profound and long-lasting. Multiple workers at the plant were exposed to high levels of radiation, and the local population has seen an increase in thyroid cancer cases, particularly among children. The environmental impact is equally severe, with radioactive materials contaminating the land and sea. But amidst the tragedy, there's resilience. Japan, along with international partners, has been undertaking massive cleanup efforts. The process involves decontaminating affected areas, a task as gargantuan as it is critical. It's a slow, painstaking journey towards recovery, and it's expected to continue for decades. The Fukushima disaster also sparked a global rethinking of nuclear energy, its safety, and the precautionary measures needed to prevent such incidents in the future. While nuclear power has its benefits, the potential for disaster is a stark reminder that we must handle this immense power with the utmost care. The Fukushima disaster marked another significant event in the history of nuclear accidents, showing once again the devastating potential of nuclear power. As we move forward, let this be a reminder of the delicate balance between harnessing the power of the atom and ensuring the safety of our planet and its people. These disastrous events have shaped our understanding and approach towards nuclear power. From the ashes of these tragedies, we've learned invaluable lessons that have fundamentally altered the course of nuclear power development. We've come to understand that while nuclear power holds a promise of boundless energy, it also harbors a potential for catastrophic disaster if not managed with the utmost care. In the wake of the Kyshtym disaster, it became clear that secrecy and lack of transparency can lead to negligence and complacency. The incident prompted governments and organizations worldwide to promote transparency in the nuclear industry, making sure that safety protocols are not only in place but are strictly followed and regularly updated. The 3 Mile Island accident emphasized the importance of operator training and system design. It underlined that even the smallest of human or mechanical errors can snowball into a crisis of epic proportions. This event led to a global review and overhaul of operator training programs and system design standards in the nuclear industry. Chernobyl, a name that sends chills down the spine, taught us the deadly consequences of ignoring safety for the sake of cost and time. It served as a stark reminder that cutting corners in safety measures can lead to irreversible damage. Post-Chernobyl, a renewed emphasis was placed on stringent safety regulations, and the importance of a robust containment structure was recognized. Fukushima Daiichi, the most recent of these disasters, reminded us that we must always prepare for the unexpected. It drove home the point that nuclear facilities need to be designed with worst-case scenarios in mind, accounting for natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis. These lessons have shaped global policies and safety procedures in the nuclear industry. They've led to the establishment of international bodies like the World Association of Nuclear Operators, which promotes the highest levels of safety and reliability in the operation of nuclear power plants. As we reflect on these historical events, we must remember the potential dangers of nuclear power and strive to prevent such disasters in the future.